Hello Saturnians! Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome! I have some new subscribers, so I'm so happy you're here. Please say hello in the comments so that I know who you are. So today I want to talk about one of my favorite cards in a tarot deck, although it is also one of the most complex cards of the major arcana in my opinion, the Hierophant. I feel that the tarot community doesn't really love the Hierophant, but I would like to offer my thoughts about it and why I think it's an amazing card. Just a little disclaimer, I am aware this is an unpopular opinion, and this is just my take on the Hierophant, but it's not the only possible interpretation. Right, let's get started. So, the Hierophant represents the body of knowledge that rules society in the form of laws, regulations, religion, bureaucracy, moral systems, and institutions in general. The Hierophant therefore represents schools, universities, churches, temples, religious leaders, the order that we need to live in society. The Hierophant protects tradition in order to keep society regulated, and as a result of that, the Hierophant punishes bad behavior and rewards good behavior. In the Rider-Waite Tarot, the Hierophant appears as a religious authority like a pope, the guardian of the sacred texts. He wears the triple crown and holds a scepter. With the other hand, the ecclesiastical sign, known as representing the duality between Esoteric with an S and Exoteric with an X. The Exoteric with an X aspect of the doctrine is the manifestation, the form, and the rituals through which the essence appears. It is the outer and visible aspect of the doctrine, known as religion. The esoteric with an S aspect of the doctrine is the invisible knowledge behind the form, the part which never appears, but is the foundation of whatever is manifested in the form of rituals and religious symbolism. In a way, the exoteric with an X is the form of the rituals, and the esoteric with an S is the essence behind it. It doesn't matter whether the Hierophant is Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, or whatever. He represents the body of knowledge available in those traditions. Remember, every seeker needs a master and every student needs a teacher. Innovation is only possible if there is a solid foundation behind it. The Hierophant protects knowledge by creating a structure around it, to prevent knowledge from deteriorating. The Hierophant loves lineages of transmission, so if we can learn yoga, meditation, magic, or anything that requires discipline, that's because somebody in the past, embodying the traits of the Hierophant, protected this knowledge so that it would be available today. Everything that we know today and every craft that we have mastered today was probably taught to us by somebody embodying the traits of the Hierophant, and this is why I love it. Without the Hierophants that we created in our society, all knowledge would be lost and we would have to learn everything again from scratch. So thanks to the Hierophants that we elected to be the guardians of the sacred texts and the sacred knowledge, there is a lineage of transmission that connects us to the past masters. In the Tree of Life, the Hierophant connects Chokmah and Chesed. This connection is the bridge between enlightenment, that is, inner illumination, and external spirituality, that is, the necessary duality and the necessary outer rituals to attain inner wisdom and liberation. While the High Priestess does not need an external source to attain inner wisdom, the Hierophant absolutely needs a method, a law, a rule to express the invisible wisdom. So, the Hierophant is the embodied version of wisdom. It's a masculine energy rather than the intuitive feminine fluidity of the High Priestess. The astrology of the Hierophant represents Taurus, the physical manifestation of its opposite sign, Scorpio. Taurus is the sign of steadiness, earthly and mundane matters. The house in which Taurus falls in a person's birth chart is the area of life in which a person is attached to his or her possessions, values, and rituals. People with strong Taurus placements are more likely to exhibit traces of the Hierophant, either in the light side, which is teaching others to connect to the source through established rituals and laws, or the shadow side, forcing rules and regulation upon others for fear of breaking rules and disrupting the form. If you want to add an extra layer of wisdom to your tarot readings, when you get the Hierophant, find the connection between the querent's Taurus placement in the birth chart and the card, and more information will be revealed. So, if we were not social beings, we would not need the Hierophant. But wherever there are people living together, there is the need to organize people and make sure that everyone can live in harmony. Of course, this has a cost. In order to live in society, we give up on a little bit of freedom because our right ends where the other person's rights begin. And the Hierophant is a reflection of our innate need for structure, justice, and order. In this aspect, I am pretty essentialist. I think the concept of justice and order is not a social construct. What is a social construct is the shape and the form that we give to these structures. So, these structures, they need to manifest, and we choose in which shape they are going to manifest. The Hierophant in the form of an authority figure, whether it's a teacher, a religious authority, an older, wiser person, or even law enforcement, is just the embodiment of our own inner desire for social justice and collective order. So we create all the Hierophants in our society to serve us. Problem is, the Hierophant is meant to serve us and help us. But what often happens is that we end up serving the Hierophant instead. And this is when we see the very dark side of the Hierophant. The dark side of the Hierophant appears when we forget that the reasons why we created the Hierophant was to be a reflection of our own inner masters and to serve our inner need for justice. But when we forget that, we end up maintaining the structure for the sake of structure, even though those laws, rules, and regulations may not even be serving their purpose anymore. So, when serving the structure becomes more important than serving the wisdom behind it, we have blind faith. We have the dark side of the Hierophant. Ultimately, rules and regulations, religions, and moral systems need to exist only so that they help us move forward towards the world card. And as we develop, the laws we created also develop. Because we define the rules not define us. We often forget that though. You know, there is a connection between the Hierophant and the world card ruled by Saturn in order to accomplish the great work represented by the world card. We need the Hierophant. Again, the true Hierophant is the inner Hierophant. The external Hierophants are just pale reflections. And if the external Hierophants are not being a mirror to the inner Hierophant, it's okay to search elsewhere and elect new leaders, create new rules, and have a brand new structure that will be aligned to our goals as a society. When the Hierophant becomes restrictive rather than a force that helps us develop as humans, then we should abandon those rules and make new ones. In the thought deck, the Hierophant cards shows these animals resembling masks because they refer to the form. Now, in the world card, the same animals reappear, but now they are alive. They're no longer masks. So, I see the Hierophant as the structure of knowledge that will lead us towards liberation. If we don't like the Hierophant and we feel oppressed by the inner Hierophant, maybe we are not acknowledging that it's possible to recreate the Hierophants in our society. And we have to start by connecting with our own inner masters. The laws, rules, and regulations that we created to ourselves. Maybe this is what needs healing. And when we heal the inner Hierophant, the external Hierophants won't look so oppressive anymore. So, I think this is what I wanted to say about the Hierophant. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments what do you think about the Hierophant. Do you love this card? Do you hate this card? What's your relationship with your inner Hierophant? I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!